Welcome to the Therapy Show podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Mustard. In each episode, I interview a seasoned and knowledgeable talk therapist from the counseling world to glean valuable insights, techniques, and tools that you can apply to your practice and your life. And if you're considering a career in the counseling field or just want to hear about what it's like to be a talk therapist, then this is the podcast for you. For many talk therapists, the pace of working in community mental health can be stressful. You're seeing back-to-back clients, you're dealing with a mountain of paperwork, you have quotas to meet, and you may be working with some very intense issues and situations. And Rose Skeeters, today's guest, knows this environment all too well as she spent many years working in an agency setting. And in this week's episode, she shares how you can combat these stressors and beat the burnout. Listen in to hear how you can get in some physical activity, as well as how to stay nourished during a jam-packed and busy day, and why your mindset is key. A little bit about Rose. She is the CVO of Thrive, Mind Body LLC, an innovative mindset coaching and online counseling practice aimed at empowering motivated individuals to master every area of their life. She specializes in family and relationship counseling, helping couples, parents, and families get and stay on the same page. She also provides consulting and clinical supervision to like-minded and driven clinicians. Are you interested in learning more tips to grow your online practice or to level up? Well, then be sure to email her at rose@thriveonlinecounseling.com. And you guys be sure to follow her over on the social. You can find her on Instagram at Becoming Rose Skeeters and on Facebook as well. And we hope you enjoy this episode. Hey guys, before we dive into this week's episode, I want to tell you about a group I've created on Facebook. It's called the Talk Therapist Lounge, and it's a place where we talk therapists can find podcast guest opportunities. That's right, if you're a licensed talk therapist and you are looking to grow your reach and visibility, this group may be a place for you to start. I'm working to bring in podcast hosts who are wanting to interview licensed clinicians that can share their expertise and knowledge with their audiences. Why should you be a guest? That's a really good question. Let me tell you, people are crawling all over the internet, listening to podcasts and watching videos on mental health issues. My mission is to help spread the word about mental health treatment and help lower the stigma around mental health. And to do that, we need to get you guys out there sharing your knowledge, sharing your wisdom, and how you help people live their best lives. And it may help grow your brand and visibility and possibly help you gain new clients. I also share how to create a podcast guest one sheet and tips and ideas for getting yourself booked on shows. So will you come join us? Look for the Talk Therapist Lounge on Facebook. I hope to see you there. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Therapy Show. I'm your host, Lisa Mustard, and I have a special guest on the show today. Her name is Rose Skeeters, and she is I can't remember.
Licensed professional counselor.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot. I'm so sorry. LPC up in Pennsylvania. And we recently connected because Rose is, I guess you're like my group leader. For small group leader in the next level practice, which that's how we met and how we connected. And you guys know I've mentioned that I'm in next level practice right now and having a really great time learning the ins and outs of starting a private practice. And when I connected with Rose, it was kind of like instant. I get her, she gets me. We have a lot of things in common. Her first name is Rose. My middle name is Rose. It's meant to be.
It is.
So welcome to the show, Rose. I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. So can you go ahead and share with my listeners, our listeners today, a little bit about you and what you do?
Sure. So I am the Chief Visionary Officer of Thrive Mind Body LLC, and I own that company with my husband, actually, which is so awesome. So grateful to be able to work with him. I am a licensed professional counselor, as you mentioned, and he is a mindset coach. So we do both coaching and counseling. And, we work with mainly families and relationships, couples, anybody who needs the truth and who needs help mastering areas of their life like fitness, wellness, nutrition, anything that has to do with the mind and body connection, we do it.
It's awesome.
So I've started on this journey a long time ago. I've been working in the field for years. I started off in a doctoral program, actually, at a local university here, Sal University, in a doctoral program. And I actually had my son, who is now 10, in the program.
Mm-hmm.
So I left the program with a master's degree, and I also have another master's degree in professional counseling. So at the time, I thought that working community mental health was like the way to go, right? Because if you work community mental health, they give you this loan forgiveness for your student loans.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the kind of journey I was on, and I just knew that wasn't the right place for me. I felt like I couldn't really help the way that I wanted to, and I couldn't reach as many people as I could if I were working in private practice. So I started doing online counseling through BetterHelp. Have you heard of like BetterHelp, those online
Oh, yeah.
places? Yeah. So I started doing that, and I thought it was such an awesome idea and definitely right up my alley. So I took the leap from working in that community mental health environment to working for BetterHelp, and then creating our own version of BetterHelp.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband right now, he has his own mindset coaching and personal training business. So we just merged the two.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how I ended up doing this. I love being a boss. I love being a business owner and entrepreneur. I think it's exciting.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, I love your story. We have a lot of things in common. I didn't realize, or maybe I did, the community mental health aspect. We have that a little bit in common. I didn't work in community mental health, but I worked for a college counseling center. And I kind of was going through a similar feeling, like I wasn't able to help the way I wanted to help. And I wasn't working with the population that I really wanted to be with. And I also worked for a online telehealth company, not BetterHelp, the other one. And I had the same exact experience. I was like, this is such a great model. I wonder if I can do this on my own, because were you like me? Were you able to fill up pretty quick and like you had a lot of clients? Yeah. Yeah. So you knew you could do it. It was just
Absolutely.
do it on your terms and your way. So I think it's really cool how you guys have pivoted and done just that. Well, I know today we want to talk about self-care for therapists, but we also want to focus on a certain population of therapists, those that work in community mental health. And I know you and I connected and we're talking about this prior, but the tempo, the pace in community mental health is very different than it is in private practice.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So can you talk a little bit about your experience at community mental health, like what it was like and kind of where you were struggling with your self-care?
Sure. So community mental health has its place. It's such a wonderful, wonderful thing for individuals who are lower income, who need quick access to emergency mental health services. So I love that aspect of working in community mental health. I love being able to work with people who wouldn't be able to pay, a private practice rate. And it was I was lucky to work for a company that was a pretty supportive environment, I would say. The administrative staff, they just really stood out to me as being great people. So aside from all the positives, there are obviously, when you're working in an agency, there are going to be negatives. So for me, community mental health was stressful, for lack of a better word, to sum it all up. I mean, you have a lot of clients, and you have a productivity rate or goal, I suppose, that you have to meet. So you have to see a certain number of clients in a certain amount of time. And if you don't, then there are penalties, whether it's a meeting or, even termination is something that you have to look at down the road if you're not seeing these people. So you have to remember that some of the people are court committed, or they can't get there because of transportation, or maybe they have severe mental illness. So for you to meet your productivity goal, plus do all of the paperwork involved on time and all the meetings that they want you to do, it can be really unrealistic. So you end up with, I can think of this metaphor as just being at the bottom of a pile of papers and trying to climb your way up, but never actually being able to reach the top. So it's like you're suffocating day in and day out.
Right. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can relate to that. I kind of felt like that when I was in the college counseling center, the expectations of how many students you're supposed to see every day. And then, we were always being told that kids were coming in with, more issues and less coping skills. And it was kind of a sign of our times and all that stuff. So we were really kind of pushed to have those quotas filled. And I was pregnant at the time too with our first child. And it was a lot.
Yeah, it is. It's so much. And, The part of it that makes me, I guess sad in a way is that who else is going to be there helping those people? So, it is a lot, and it isn't anything that we can do anything about if we choose to work in those environments. And if you're someone out there and, you're listening to this and you think, man, maybe I should get out of community mental health, but your heart is really in it, you don't always have to leave the thing that you're doing. You can always alter what you're doing so that you can take care of yourself, so that you can feel like, you know what, if I'm going to be under this mountain or this pile of paperwork, I don't have to suffocate and I don't have to drown here. I can keep the paperwork over here and I can be outside of the paperwork pile and do the best I can every day and keep helping people and take care of myself at the same time.
Yeah. Can you share some skills or strategies or tips that would be helpful for folks who are looking to take care of themselves in that environment?
Absolutely. I would say
Awesome.
move. Number one, the best thing that you can do is not sit down at your desk all day long and stuck in this rut of staring at a computer screen. Move.
Right.
Get up, go take your clients for walks if your agency allows it. I worked in the city, and it wasn't the nice part of the city, right? It was a part of the city that kind of, not a place that you really want to walk around, but it didn't matter to me. So I just found a safe block radius and I would just walk.
Oh, cool.
Or take the stairs instead of taking the elevator. Run, but if it's any way that you can move and you get your body moving, then it will help lift your spirit. So that's what I would say is move. You can even get those big yoga balls.
Yeah.
Use those instead of a chair. I had someone down the hall from me and she would just kind of bounce all day. Great idea.
That's awesome. So you're saying when you're with your clients, do these things, not just like in between clients. I think that's fabulous.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool. I love it. Move. And I would also suggest getting some sunlight, if you can. It's cold where you are. So colder than where I am.
It is. And my office did not have a window. So it's good that you point that out. Not everyone's lucky to have a window in community mental health. So I had a picture of a window in my office. That was good. But in order to replace the window, we had to go outside. Even on cold days, there were benches in a little courtyard. And so we would go out there and we would sit on the benches for people that weren't mobile enough to walk and just be outside in a session.
Yeah, I like that. That's a great tip. Really like that. Okay. What else you got for us?
All right. Tip 2.
Yeah.
Just because you're in community mental health and you have vending machines doesn't mean that you have to eat from the vending machines. And, another thing that we were talking about this before, another thing I found is that in order to cope with having to work in an office, many people will come up with this idea of having parties. Like, I can't tell you how many parties and how much junk food there was just sitting around. So I'd say stay away from the party situation. If you can't because you want to be part of the office camaraderie, awesome. Cook something. Bring something to the party that's healthy. Bring yourself healthy foods that you can snack on and eat in the office. And, if you have some extra cash laying around, I would buy granola bars and bottles of water and keep them in my office, because you can share a healthy snack with the person that is coming to see you if you're okay with that. But do whatever it is that you can do to stay away from the donuts, the cakes, the big meals that people are having while they're sitting there, because being sedentary, not having vegetables, not having fruits, not having access to lean protein is going to make it even harder for you to keep a positive mindset about you. And you don't want to be in that situation if you're trying to get all these people who are in community mental health to have a positive mindset, right? If you have to walk the walk, talk the talk, right?
Right. You have to be the change. You have to be the role model, and you have to offer solutions for sure. Exactly. I think that's really smart. And I'm thinking back to the days when we would all get together, and I joke around. We always used to joke around, but like we would say, everybody bring a healthy snack. And it was like 17 different varieties of hummus. That's what we used to all do. It was like 17 different, it was like the hummus gang. I was like, what is it with us and hummus when people say healthy? But hummus and vegetables is such an amazing snack. And you will be surprised at how many people will be like all over it, when you offer that. Absolutely. Because I totally understand the desire to hang out with people at a place because it brings you up, it's uplifting, it's positive, I hope, and we're a community. We want to hang out and talk to each other. And it's really easy to default to some other foods that give us the sugar rush, or, high fatty foods make us sometimes feel really good in the moment, but they don't feel so good, an hour later when you're sitting in a session and you're falling asleep. So
That's right.
yeah, I mean, I totally get that. I think these are great tips. What else do you have in mind?
I just want to, piggyback on what you were saying about being a role model. That's exactly what I was driving home. Be a role model for the people that come to see you. When you have a client coming in, with community mental health, a lot of the times people are on government assistance, right? So I can't tell you how many times I've had someone come in and sit in the office and they have this huge Mountain Dew, like liter bottle of Mountain Dew or Coca-Cola or whatever soda it is, right? And you think, if you're sitting there and you're also eating and drinking things that are unhealthy, then how are you going to help that person become more healthy, or, rise to a different level or level up in their life?
Right.
It's going to be highly unlikely that you're going to help people and give them that positive mindset and that behavior to emulate if you're not sitting there with a bottle of water or something healthy, right?
Right.
So being a role model is really important. What else? So another thing I definitely encourage people to think about is the power of choice. So if you understand that working in community mental health is a rat race, it's difficult, it's, a high pressure situation with not a lot of reward, but every day you wake up and you choose to go into that environment, it's important that you look yourself in the mirror and you accept responsibility for that choice that you made. It always made it easier for me to go into work every day knowing that I chose to be there. Sure, it's a lot of paperwork, and when your boss is asking you for a signature that you couldn't get because the person didn't show up, and you're like, well, I don't know what to tell you, because it's, when they come around for like licensing, it becomes this like huge push. I just would think to myself, I don't need to be frustrated because I choose to work here. And there are other people that really, they need my services and they love coming to see me, and I love having them in my office. So for me, I always brought it back to that. If you want to get a new job, you can go and do that. But until you're ready to do that, instead of making the choice to complain, try to choose joy. So choosing joy is finding the positive, even amongst all of the negative. Find the positivity in the situation and remember that you choose to be there.
Yeah, I really like that. And I don't think we talk enough about that in the work that we do, because I think there's this like group think, and misery loves company. So if you are at one of these get-togethers in your office on a Friday and people are starting to kind of moan and groan about the pace or the frustrations that they have, you don't have to engage in that conversation. You really don't. You don't have to kind of join in that group think. Make the choice not to. And, you don't have to like insert a self and be, you guys shouldn't, blah, 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 blah. But if, sometimes just removing yourself from a conversation is the silent sign to some people, like, you're just not going to engage. And the person who needs to witness that will witness it and make meaning out of it. So I like realize you're making a choice, and then also work within congruency of your choices and your values. I think that's really, really smart. When you were sharing that, I was reflecting on some of my jobs that I've had in the past. And when it gets to that point of, I don't really want to be here anymore and I choose to do something different, you just know when it's time to go. So I'm glad you mentioned that. And as therapists, sometimes, we're so touchy-feely. We want to process our feelings. We want to process everything. Sometimes you don't have to process. You just have to be in that, like, I'm making the choice here to think and do. Yeah, I know what my stuff is. I know what that's all about. But I choose today to come from this perspective. And I have to stand strong in that value. So I really like that. Thank you for reminding me of that.
You're welcome.
It's me thinking of a lot of other things. Hey friend, want to be more comfortable while sitting on the therapy couch? I sure did, and went looking for pants and tops that were soft, wrinkle resistant, and would match just about anything I already had in my closet. And now Zaya Active makes up about 80% of my wardrobe. Would you like to learn more? Head over to my site, lisamustard.com, and click on the Activewear tab. And don't think this is just for women. They have men's and kids' clothes too. And our family is loving the quality, and I am loving the price tags. So head over to my site to check it all out. So is there anything else that you have for the self-care of a community mental health therapist?
No, I think those are the biggest, most important ones, right? So physical fitness, and then also nutrition, what you're putting in your body, movement, which is physical fitness, and then also positivity, your mindset. It's like you said, groupthink. It's easy to get lost in those meetings where everyone's like, oh, this is horrible. They expect too much from me. How am I supposed to do all this? Right. Those things are all true. It's also true that at any moment in time, you could get up, assuming you have licensure. If you don't have licensure, you might need to hang in there a little bit. But if you're licensed or if you're on that path, you can, at any moment in time, go apply for a different job. So take back that power and control, because isn't that what you're supposed to be teaching your clients? Isn't that what we're supposed to be teaching our clients? How to overcome? So remember, the more you get lost in groupthink, the more desperate and burnt out you'll feel. That's where burnout comes from. Yeah. One of the biggest reasons for it.
Can you say that again? I want to hear it again.
You want to hear it again? Yeah. I mean, burnout comes from this group think, this idea that everything is horrible and negative and you'll always be stuck in this situation, and that your back is against the wall and your job is awful and you have no choice.
Yep.
That's where burnout comes from. And then complaining about clients. You know what? I will put another one on there. We don't need to complain about clients. That's one of the biggest things in community mental health that was that push over the edge to leave. How many times have I heard something negative about a client? You know what? That takes the responsibility off of what you're supposed to be doing, because you have a job you were hired to do, and puts it on the clients. Just rude, mean, and it's just not a good place to be in. Just be happy.
Yeah. 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 But yet at the same time, do the work to help that client. And a lot of the times it's, hey, we need to have a talk about, you didn't show up 3 times and you're court mandated, or, things like that. So, no, I hear what you're saying. And I really appreciate what you're sharing here, because like I said, I don't think we talk enough about it. I don't think we're as honest with ourselves. It's a lot easier, even as therapists, sometimes it's a lot easier to, point the finger at other people than it is to look at our own behavior. And we know better, y'all. We know better. So I'm glad we're having this talk. So can we shift gears just a little bit?
Sure.
And talk about, how do you nourish your body when you're super busy, seeing clients back to back? And what are some strategies that people can consider when they're trying to eat a little healthier or feel a little bit better? And they're aware, they are choosing to change their nutrition strategies up. So what would you recommend?
Perfect. That's a great question. So I do have a precision nutrition master's level nutrition certification. And I didn't get that because I wanted to be a nutrition coach. I sought that certification so that I can help people coming to me in private practice better their lives. Maybe they don't ask for nutrition coaching, or maybe the people that I do supervision with, the providers, they're not asking for that specifically, but I like to sprinkle that in because it is important to nourish your body. So some tips: drink water throughout the day. I know that everyone gets that midday slump and you're tempted to have another cup of coffee, or, my goodness, 5-hour energies. I can't believe that's still a thing, but it is. And if that's you, awesome. Chase that 5-hour energy with 5 glasses of water. You really need water. I have some clients that call water shower juice. If you don't like to drink water, I respect that. Drink Propel, or just do it like Nike says, right? Just drink it. It is so important for you to stay hydrated, to prevent headaches from all the time looking at the screen. Another thing that you can do is, if you're setting out on a healthy diet, try not to be too extreme, right? So we talk as therapists a lot about black and white thinking. Well, it doesn't have to be all McDonald's or all salad. There is a middle ground. So add 2 fistfuls of vegetables to every meal that you currently eat. Keep everything else the same. Add some water and some vegetables, and use your fist as a tool to measure. Let's say you can put broccoli, cauliflower, even have carrots or You know what's really good when you talked about hummus? Peppers, bell peppers. Slice those up and have those ready for you to be able to snack, especially if you work from home like me and you're tempted to like need energy. When you get up, have fresh fruit cut, have fresh vegetables cut, so that those are the things you're going for and not your kids like goldfish. I've definitely been guilty of that, right? But you want to make sure that you're prepared and you're prepping these foods early on in the week, maybe on Sunday, so that you have that to last throughout the week.
Yeah, well, I like that. I like those tips a lot. And I hear what you're saying about the goldfish. Have to hide those babies. I don't know about you, but now, well, my girls don't really eat goldfish that much anymore, but when I do eat them, they're so salty. I just can't do it like I used to. When they were younger, I could just like buy the fistful because they just tasted so good. And I don't know, being so busy and strapped for time, it was like anything you could get in your mouth was was awesome. I really like these tips. What about lunches? Like, what do you say for our friends who are having a hard time, maybe like they know they want to start bringing lunches? What would be some easy things they can start packing?
Wow, I love tuna fish. That's just me. Like I love tuna salad, chicken salad. It's cheap. It's easy to make. You can, get olive oil and mayo now, which is healthier than regular mayo. So tuna is awesome. You can get hummus, vegetables. I mean, even make yourself a sandwich. Because if you think about it, right? If you have a turkey and cheese sandwich on wheat bread, it's going to be way better than pizza ordered out, if you're going into an office setting. For lunch, for me, I work from home, so I love breakfast. For lunch, my husband will come home in the middle of his sessions, and we have eggs over easy and sprouted grain toast, right?
Hey, that's
that Ezekiel bread?
Yeah, that's exactly what I have for breakfast. That's funny. I'm telling you.
Grass-fed butter, anything that you can get your hands on that's fresh and whole unprocessed foods is going to be great. Grab an apple or some berries and some nuts. Those are good snacks throughout the day. And as for your lunches, salads are great if you're good with salads, but anything, again, like leftovers from the night before would be great. Try to remember that food doesn't always have to be hyper palatable. In other words, gasp. Food doesn't have to always taste good. So if your goal is to nourish yourself and you're trying to eat healthier, remember that when you go to work. It doesn't have to feel good. It has to get you through the day and have the appropriate macronutrients to fuel whatever stress you're going to be going through that day.
Yeah, I really like how you say that. I think that's important, that sometimes it's not about the most palatable taste, or, just because you want that cupcake because it tastes good. Is that really the best choice?
Right.
A hard-boiled egg and an apple may not taste like a cupcake. I mean, it's not going to taste like a cupcake, but it's going to give you energy and it's going to help you feel fuller longer. And you're not going to have that crash an hour later and maybe want another cupcake. That's, I see that a lot. You see them going back to the conference room for the second cupcake.
Right.
So I think this is really helpful. You like tuna fish and chicken salad. I need your recipes because I struggle.
Yeah. What about veggie or lunch meat roll-ups too? If you're not, off the top of my head, right? So my son he does not like bread, which just an odd fact about my 10-year-old. He will not eat a sandwich. He only likes the meat. So I will roll up ham and turkey and put them in plastic bags for him. He loves that.
Yeah.
Could be a thing too.
Yeah, my youngest, doesn't like bread a lot. She's funny like that. And my oldest is always asking for like lettuce wraps, because we went to a Chinese restaurant one time and they had like lettuce wraps and she thought that was like the coolest thing ever. So she, I think it's really interesting. What we model is going to also, our children are also going to pick up on it too. So I think that's really, really something.
Sure.
These are such great tips. I'm trying to think of other things when it comes to nutrition that, I implement at work. I don't know, and this is one thing that works really well for me, is if I don't have a lot of groceries at home and I just haven't been able to get to the store that Sunday before I go to work on Monday, I will make a smoothie, like a protein smoothie, and I'll freeze it. And then I will take it out in the morning. And by the time I get to lunch, it's like defrosted enough that it's almost like soft serve. So I know that works really well for me when I'm in a pinch or in a bind. So I really liked to make smoothies as well. Do you guys make smoothies?
That's a great idea. Yeah. So again, working from home after a workout, or if I have a back-to-back session, or even, post-workout midday, if I schedule that in for myself, we go right to smoothies. We have one of those ninjas.
Yeah.
Those things are pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I I have Orgain protein, and I'll put in flaxseed meal, chia seeds, unsweetened almond milk, and a fat, maybe coconut oil or almond butter without sugar in it. And that keeps me full and going until the next meal. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. That's a great recipe right there. I'm going to try, get some more almond butter. I like almond butter. Forgot about it. So thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for reminding me.
You're welcome.
Well, this has been such an awesome call. Now tell us a little bit about your coaching that you do, because I know that you work with clients, but is there a certain population that you would say you really enjoy working with, that you really, find you can really, really help?
Yeah, absolutely. So I love working with moms, and also, Jay works with stepdads, people of blended families. So that's really become like my niche, mothers who weren't nurtured. So if you're out there and you are a mom and you didn't have a very nurturing upbringing and you need support to nurture your children, to nurture yourself and your husband, definitely reach out to us. Those are the people I love working with. I do online counseling, and I also, for people who are local, I'll go into the home and create a parenting plan. And then after the parenting plan session, I will help the mom and Jay will help the father and help them come into their roles, whatever that means, as the mother and father in the relationship. And then also help them come together. So helping couples get on the same page and stay on the same page. It's great to see that family unit grow, and for everybody to just be able to love each other and be vulnerable and be able to teach that to their children.
Yeah.
That's something that we love to do.
Oh, I love that. And I like how you identify your population so well. Women who were not nurtured. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
How do you know if you haven't been nurtured?
Well, then you have a difficult time trusting your partner. You have a difficult time trusting yourself.
Okay.
You might be quick to yell at your kids versus, we all yell at our kids, right? But when you find that your main strategy is just 0 to 60 screaming, and you feel frustrated because you asked your child to do the same thing over and over again and they won't do it, then you can think, okay, well, I must have learned how to parent from someone who didn't really know what they were doing. They didn't know how to nurture. So, those are key things to look at. If you get to the point where you're like, oh my gosh, I can't do parenting.
Right.
That's how you know.
I like how you phrase that. That's great to consider, because you're asking them to take a look at, how they were raised, the model that they had. And you're not saying there's no hope for you. We're saying, let's get you to that mom place that you want to be, that you are nurturing and you nurture your children, because you don't want to perpetuate that for your kids and for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. Well, this has been so awesome. How do folks connect with you if they want to reach out to you and have more Rose in their lives?
Awesome. So you can reach us on the web at thriveonlinecounseling.com/providers. So if you're a provider and you're looking for support with growing your business or just leveling up with more of the strategies that we were talking about today, thriveonlinecounseling.com/providers, or you can contact me directly at rose@thriveonlinecounseling.com.
Awesome. Thanks, Rose. This has been really great. And we'll put everything that, you've mentioned in the show notes, so you guys can go there and get the link and contact Rose and connect with her. And this has been fabulous. So thanks so much for being on the show. It's been awesome.
Awesome. Thank you, Lisa.
Well, that wraps up another episode of The Therapy Show with Lisa Mustard. I know there are hundreds of thousands of podcasts out there, and I'm thankful you've chosen to listen to mine. Be sure to visit lisamustard.com to access the show notes and discover more fantastic content. And I'd be grateful if you subscribe to the show. Thank you.